Do you ever look back and say, I saw the signs, I knew it. Why didn't I leave earlier? Yeah, the red flags that so many women see, yet we have a tendency to turn them pink and look the other way. In this episode, I'm going to speak into a woman's intuition, that body wisdom, the body intelligence, how the body always knows, yet we've been so cleverly trained out of listening to it. I don't know about you, but I've been in so many experiences and relationships where I can see that my body is having a visceral reaction and response. And yet I label myself as crazy if I'm being hypervigilant and my thoughts are going wild, or I assume that it's something to do with me and I'm messed up, that I need fixing, that I'm the broken one. When in actual fact, our body is really great at being able to attune to and tap into intuition of when something is out of alignment. So for example, some of these signs might be you notice that you clench your jaw a lot, or you have shallow breathing, or like I shared, like you go into hypervigilance and your mind goes wild, but then he tells you that you're crazy. Because of course, like you couldn't possibly be right. Those thoughts that you're thinking couldn't possibly be the truth. Now, I'm not saying that every single time we nail it, because we're story beings and we have a really cleverly designed way of creating a lot of meaning without a lot of factual evidence. But I know from my experience that there has been multiple times where I thought something and I said it and I was told that I was crazy and I was wrong and I was making things up. But then later along down the line, it turned out to be true. And this is the thing, like your body knows long before your conscious mind can catch up. So, you know, these signs for a woman, we've been so cleverly designed to override them, to not even think them or assess them to be even like connected to any kind of truth. And why? Because so many women, we've been basically shamed for our emotions. We've been shamed for expressing our truth. We've been told that we're crazy, that we're too much, that we're not enough. So we live life avoiding the truth. We live life thinking that what we're feeling is off, is not okay, imaginary, right? That we've made it all up somehow. So what happens is we continuously stay stuck in patterns and experiences that ultimately don't serve us. We stay with liars, we stay with cheaters, we stay with dishonesty, we stay with incompetence, we stay with inconsistency, we stay with men that literally actually don't really give a fuck and also that give the bare minimum. So there's this whole settling culture that women have subscribed to because we've been suppressed, because our voice has been labeled as invaluable for our needs to just not even be considered. And so it's really challenging for a woman in 2026 to be an advocate for herself, to even know what she wants, to even know what she needs, because she's completely disconnected and overridden her body's intelligence. And she stays up here and she stays at the level of the mind. And over time, that sends us even more dysregulated. So we stay more anxious. We stay more disconnected, more stuck. The amount of times that I hear of a woman saying, I don't know how I feel, but I know I feel stuck. And stuck isn't even a feeling. It is just a cognitive mental loop that keeps the woman in the mind, over assessing everything, analyzing everything, thinking of everything, trying to figure it out, trying to get to the why, trying to understand why something feels off or why she feels off. And so what happens over time is like when you're in these relationships and these patterns are just overplaying the entire scenario of your relationship, and you get to a point where you know you need to leave and you do. Let's say you got there, you eventually got there, even though the relationship wasn't healthy, even though, you know, you wanted to stay, but you knew it wasn't healthy, so you made a way to make it out. Great. But then you enter out of the relationship and you look back and you see the signs. You can see how you were feeling and you can see how everything was rolling and you can see how he said that you were crazy, but actually it turns out you're not crazy. It turns out it was all true. Now, what happens afterwards is you stay stuck, or your body stays stuck in the relationship long after the relationship has gone. long after you've left, right? And what's happening is there's intrusive ruminating thoughts happening. And I know that so many women can often assess or label this as, oh my God, I shouldn't have left. I can't stop thinking about him. I miss him. And you start thinking about all of the green flags and you completely forget about all of the red flags that he did and all of the ways in which he didn't meet your needs and all of the ways in which he abandoned you and all of the ways in which he betrayed you. And what's happening is the body is trying to process. And this is natural. The body needs to process. The body needs to process the rage and the anger and the dishonesty and the boundaries that were broken and how it was not okay how you were treated. So the body needs to do that. Now, if you're a woman that hasn't had a lot of access to your emotions because you were shamed for them and you were labeled too much, crazy, all the things, right? It's going to be really challenging for you to try and access that feeling. So what happens is the ruminating thoughts happen and you keep going over everything in your mind. Totally natural. Now, one of the things I just want to put on the table is the sense of completion and why most women don't get to this point. And it's really, really big because the cycle of staying at the level of the mind is so big, right? Because if you can't access your emotions and you feel uncomfortable feeling anything, then you'll stay trying to figure things out and trying to make meaning out of it. So the sense of completion, what that actually feels like, most women, rather than actually feel the thing and feel the discomfort and feel the rage and feel the pain and feel the sadness, because that feels like too much for your body because you haven't given yourself the space to feel things for a really long time. And hello, this was me. I get it. I totally get it. But most women, what you'll try and do is you'll try and journal. You'll try and write out more of your thoughts and keep staying at the level of the mind, which is why when I think journaling's great, but it isn't going to get you a breakthrough. It isn't going to change your life. It isn't going to transform your life. It's going to keep you in the story and you're going to get in that mental loop and maybe you'll figure out a few things. You'll get a bit more insightful. You'll definitely get more awareness. It's pretty cool that you're able to do that. But fundamentally, you're still going to feel stuck and you're still going to feel like you're not going to be able to have a healthy relationship again because it's still staying up here. So most women like journal their feelings versus feeling their feelings. And you might go dating again. Like you might think, okay, the best way to get over him is to get with another guy because it was him. Well, yes, it was him, but it was also you. So really important, you can date again for sure. You can journal again for sure. You can stay busy. So many women try and stay busy as well. I'm just going to get on with my career. I'm going to go and move somewhere. I'm going to go do something. I'm going to change my look. You stay busy. All of these things are not wrong or bad, but they're not going to break free of that pattern where you override your needs and you override your body's intelligence of really listening to what is your truth and what is in alignment and be able to notice when there are threats in a relationship or in a dating experience, situationship, whatever, any interaction. We're so intelligent. And when we create a boundary for ourselves, we can actually repel a lot of these type of scenarios. When you know that there's completion, there is something that happens in nervous system and somatic work, which is so powerful, is you actually realize that even though you might still love him, right? I'm not saying that you just fall out of love with someone, even if he was a douchebag, you had a connection, you had an attachment. It's very natural, it's very normal. But what happens when you really start healing is you stop scanning. So you stop scanning for him. You stop scanning for the reasons as to why it didn't work out. You stop scanning for wondering why he did what he did. You stop scanning for what you should do or how you should change or what you should do differently. And that is a sense of completion. When you literally stop looking back, and this is really important, and this is one of the hugest breakthroughs that I ever experienced by doing this work after a toxic relationship, which was trauma bonded, led to PTSD, brought up all of my childhood trauma. You stop looking for threats. You stop bracing You know, when you go out to a coffee shop and there's a guy there and you can feel a little bit of, like tightness in your body, or you look down because you don't want to be seen by him. That is bracing. And you will know when you have completed your journey in your healing emotion, when you actually stop bracing and looking for threats and looking for red flags. That is also totally normal to be doing after a painful experience where you start dating again. You're analyzing him and you're picking him apart. You're looking for all of the tiny, small ways, even down to his job or, you know, what he likes to do at the weekend. Like, you're trying to character profile him. And that is cleverly designed as, I'm looking for my person and I want to make sure we have the same values and I want to make sure that we like the same things to do. But in actual fact, if you're doing that and you can see where maybe even your friends are saying you're too picky, if that line keeps coming up, it could be that you're hyper-visualizing and your red flag alert has gone on high alert to the point where you're actually not able to really, really put yourself out there, and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it to say that you are trying. But in actual fact, there's a part of you that doesn't feel safe enough and isn't ready to date again. Doesn't mean that you can't date again, because dating is a great way to practice. But what it means is there's a different type of work that you get to do in order to attract healthy, secure love. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really think that it is so important that every single woman reconnects to the intelligence inside of her, the wisdom inside of her, your truth, your expression, your innate way of being, and how it can actually be the GPS system so that you can navigate through life and experiences in a way in which feels deeply empowering and deeply, deeply true to what you want and what you need. So many women get to do the work and also get to that place of where they can connect to that level of truth. If you enjoy this episode, please hit the 5-star review, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you're not already subscribed so that you can check out my next episode.